Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and welcome to episode 5 of the quest of Classic WoW. Today we're going to a zone in World of Warcraft that is filled with mysteries, adventures, danger, and really bad Chuck Norris jokes. Yes, I'm talking about the Barons. More specifically, the leaders of the Fang quest chain that will take us from exploring oases to setting foot in the Wailing Caverns. So without further ado, let's get started. So we begin our journey at Tonga Rune Totem in the Crossroads. When we walk up to him, he says the following. The times we live in are as fickle as the shifting winds, mage. It is important to remember what is true and lasting in this world, and to preserve that. Everything else is a waste. Now we get the first quest. Long ago, the Barrens was a lush place, teeming with life. But war and cataclysm raged across the land, scorching it and leaving a dry husk. Such is the way of things, and it saddens my heart. But within the past few years, new oases have formed in the Barrens, and life stirs. And deep down, we Druids sense a power leaking its way to the surface. We must find its source. Travel to the Forgotten Pools, northwest of the Crossroads. Search its waters for a source of power, then return here. So off we go to the Forgotten Pools, which is, like he said, northwest of the Crossroads. Once you see the pool of water, dive in and swim towards the fissure that you see. And presto, quest completed. After that we head back to the Crossroads and talk to Tonga Rune Totem again. You found a fissure in the earth, with gas bubbling from it? Strange. This may be an answer to our questions, but we cannot yet be sure. But it is a clue, and I am grateful that you found it. And then we get the next part. Like the one you found at the Forgotten Pools, there may be fissures at the other oases in the Barrens. If so, then perhaps the fissures are the oasis' source of life. We must test this. Here, take these seeds. They are dead and infertile, but take them to the stagnant oasis to the southeast. If there's a fissure there, then place the seeds within it and observe. So now we're off to a different oasis, the stagnant oasis, which is southeast of the Crossroads. Once we get there, we first have to fight our way through these snapjaws until we can get to the fissure at the bottom of this pool. Then we click on the fissure and test the dried seeds. Once we've done that, it's back to Tonga Rune Totem. Your findings are amazing. The seeds I gave you were dried and dead. Whatever rests under these oases can create life from nothing. We must study this more. And then we get the next part. Your findings are incredible, adventurer. These oases hold properties that must come from an outside source, or perhaps an inside one. I want to know how these fissures are affecting the beasts who can drink from the oasis water. Hunt oasis snapjaws at the lush water and stagnant oasis. Bring me their shells so I may examine them. So we go to one of the oases Tonga Rune Totem talked about and fight off the snapjaw once again, but this time to collect their shells. The drop chance is quite high, so you'll be done collecting all 8 of them in only a few minutes. Once we got them all, it's time to once again go back to Tonga Rune Totem. Thank you, adventurer. Studying the beasts of an area can tell much about the area itself. We shall see what tale these shells tell. Please accept my gratitude for your aid, and perhaps you can use these coins. I find that I do not need them. And once we completed this, the quest chain splits up into 2 different quests. First, we'll get the Mural Rune Totem quest. My clanmate, Mural Rune Totem, traveled to Silverpine so that she might aid our undead allies. Silverpine is an ailing forest, a dying forest, and it was Mura's hope to bring it new life. Perhaps the strange life found here in the Barrens can help her work in Silverpine. Take a sample of the shells you gathered and bring it to Mura in Silverpine. She is staying at the Sepulchre. With luck, studying the shell will give her the insight she needs to heal that dying place. And then we get the Hamel Rune Totem quest. The shells you brought me have a taint, one I have never before seen. I am certain the water of the oasis is the cause, and I can sense the confusion they cause this land. It is as if the land dreams and cannot awake. The Wailing Caverns must be the source of the taint, but before you go there, speak with Hamel Rune Totem, the Elder Druid. I sent word to him of the happenings in the Barrens. He is wise and can offer you counsel. You will find him in Thunderbluff on the Elder Rise. Alright then, first we'll tackle the Mural Rune Totem quest, and this means we have one long journey ahead of us, so we better start moving. First we grab a wyvern and fly from the Crossroads to Orgrimmar. Once we're there, we walk out of the city, make a left and head for the Zeppelin. Then we get on the Zeppelin and travel to the other continent. Once we're there, we first go into the Undercity to grab the flight path, so we can't forget to pick this up later on, and then we walk outside of the Undercity, make a left and walk all the way to the Sepulchre. One cool thing I noticed when actually paying attention to this quest is that Tonga Rune Totem mentions that Silverpine Forest is a dying place. At first glance I didn't really get why, as Silverpine itself seems quite nice with giant trees and a lush environment, but on further inspection you can see some dead trees here and there, further proving what Tonga Rune Totem was saying. I thought that was a cool detail that I never noticed before until now. So we keep walking south, following the path, and on the way we see multiple areas that no doubt the Forsaken are tackling. Once we head over the bridge, we make a right, and not long after we finally arrive at the Sepulchre. Quite an epic journey, especially considering we don't have a mount, but we made it. Mural Rune Totem is outside of the inn, and we go and talk to her. I can smell the dust of the Barrens on you, mage. You have traveled far. And then we hand it in. Ah, what is this? The shell has an inner glow, as if it still pulses with life. Amazing! I must study it further. Thank you, adventurer. With luck, this shell will hold a secret I can use to aid the poor land of Silverpine. And that's it for this part of the quest chain. No follow-up, but we do get a decent chunk of XP and a green item of our choice. After we've done that, we hardstone back to the other continent to save some time. Once we're back in the crossroads, it's time to focus on the other part of the quest chain, and for that we need to go to Thunderbluff, so we grab a wyvern and fly there. When we arrive, we go to the Elder Rise, where you'll find Hamel Rune Totem. I bid you greetings, adventurer. You are welcome here, and I suggest you gather all your strength, for the task we now set before you is a dire one. And then we get the next part. I entered the land of dreams, and dreamed of a cult of Druids who dwell in the Wailing Caverns. I saw that their goals were once noble, but they have lost their way. They are now servants of the taint seeping through the barrens. I am old and my strength fails. I could not long dwell in that dreaming place and know little more of the tainted Druids. But Nera is young and her spirit is fierce. She remained in the dream when I fled. Speak with Nera. She is in the tent over yonder. Then we turn around and talk to Nera Wildmane. Yes, it is true. I know of the Druids in the Wailing Caverns. I have seen their twisted, scaled faces. I know their crimes, and I know their plans. You must stop them, adventurer. And then we get the last part. The Druids in the Wailing Caverns, the Druids of the Fang, are an aberration. They were part of an order of noble Druids whose plan was to heal the Barrens, but now seek to remake that land to match their own twisted dreams. The Druids of the Fang have 4 leaders, and each possesses a dream gem. Even now their faces haunt me. Defeat the leaders and bring me their gems, and the Barrens may again know peace. Go, adventurer. You will find them lurking deep within the Wailing Caverns. And this is where things start to get really challenging, because this is the part where you have to find 4 other adventurers and venture deep into the Wailing Caverns to collect these 4 gems. Since I'm on my own server, I'll do it myself, so without further ado, we're off to the Wailing Caverns. We enter the cave and fight our way through until we get to the entrance of the instance. On the other side, we encounter a druid called the Disciple of Naralax. Since this is part of the Wailing Caverns and also has to do with the nightmares that these druids of the Fang are responsible for, I'll include this in the video as well. Naralax sleeps again. Long time ago, Naralax journeyed to this cavern with the honorable goal of entering the Emerald Dream and regrowing the Barrens into a lush forest. His focus waned and his thoughts became tainted by serpentine visions. Now, reptilian beasts seep from his dreams to the land. He must be awoken from the nightmare, or he will be forever lost and a great evil unleashed. Only after his corrupted servants, the Fang Lords, have been slain can I perform the awakening ritual. Alright, so let's first make our way through the Wailing Caverns and collect the 4 gems of the Fang Lords. A full run of this instance with a group should cover you with getting these gems. Just don't forget to pick them up, as I'm guilty of forgetting to pick up one and having to once again enter the Wailing Caverns to get that last one. Once we got all 4, we completed the quest, but like I said, I'd like to include the Disciple of Naralax part, so we go back to him and ready ourselves for the ritual. The Fang Lords are dead. All hope is not lost. The awakening ritual is quite complex, however. It cannot be done alone. I will handle all of the necessary preparations, but I will need you to protect me. The nightmare summoned from Naralex's journey through the Emerald Dream proved to be quite formidable. Without your help, this mission is doomed. When you are ready to defend me, say the word, and I shall lead the way to Naralex's chamber. Since there's dialogue here, I'll narrate that too. I must take the necessary preparations before the awakening ritual can begin. You must protect me. These caverns were once a temple of promise for regrowth in the Barrens. Now, they are halls of nightmares. A little later down the line and we get to our first stop. Within this circle of fire, I must cast a spell to banish the spirits of the slain Fang Lords. Then some vipers appear, we kill them, and not long after we're done here. The caverns have been purified. To Naralex's chamber we go. Beyond this corridor, Naralex lies in fitful sleep. Let us go awaken him before it is too late. And then we get to the chamber. Protect me, brave souls, as I delve into the Emerald Dream to rescue Naralex and put an end to this corruption. While the disciple is casting his spell, mobs will appear from the waters. First some vipers, then ectoplasms, and finally, the last boss of this dungeon. Once you kill him, we're all done here. I am awake! At last! At last, Naralex awakes from the nightmare. Ah, to be pulled from the dreaded nightmare. I thank you, my loyal disciple, along with your brave companions. We must go and gather with the other disciples. There's much work to be done before I can make another attempt to restore the Barrens. Farewell, brave souls. And there we go. We've done all that we had to do here in the Wailing Caverns. After that, we fly back to Thunderbluff and talk to Nara Wildmane one last time. You have done it, adventurer. You killed the leaders of the Druids of the Fang. My dreams are now free of their wicked faces, and you have helped save the Barrens from a cursed future. I thank you, adventurer. I thank you for myself, for the Druids of Thunderbluff, and for the land. And last but not least, we get to choose some very cool and powerful weapons, a caster staff and a one-handed sword. So, with that said, what makes this quest chain so memorable? Well, at first I'd like to say that the setup for this questline is amazing. As you make your way from either Durotar or Mulgore to the Barrens, you see that the zone is dry, with little vegetation, a place where you won't find much lush environments. And when you walk to the crossroads for the first time, you see that at some places, that is the opposite. From a distance you all of a sudden see green patches of land with a lot of trees, sparking your curiosity into thinking that maybe the zone isn't all that barren as you thought it would be. And of course this whole quest chain is surrounded by exactly that thought, exploring what it could be that causes these oases, and see what we could do in order to make sure the Barrens becomes a beautiful lush zone once again. It's also cool that this quest takes you on a journey to the other side of the world, to Silverpine Forest, and of course the grand finale that is gathering a group of adventurers to go into the Wailing Caverns for what some was their very first dungeon, like myself. That, and to many of us, the quest reward was our very first blue weapon, which further adds to how memorable this quest chain is. And there you go, episode 5 of the Quest of Classic WoW. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel, and have a good one.